Welcome to the Money Watch Show. It's Thursday, January 23rd, and we are here trying to help you make better financial decisions. We is me, Jill Schlesinger, CBS News business analyst and certified financial planner. My co-host, who happens to be my executive producer of my life, is Mark Talercio. He is also a certified financial planner. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Jill. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you. I'm very excited. This is the first time that we're talking since we had... No, this is not the first time. I was going to say since we had our lovely meal in Brooklyn. I've journeyed to Mark's house, for which he paid a lot of money and has a high mortgage interest rate, and it's probably worth it. It's great, and your space is amazing, man. It looks great.
Thank you very much. Next, you'll have to come back when it's nice outside and you can fully enjoy the outdoor space.
I can't wait about it. Mark has two different, very cool spaces that are outdoor spaces, which is rare in New York City. And one side, I have now been thinking about what I want you to put on that other side. So I'm really thinking this through. I have some sort of tiki bar idea that is going to is percolating for me. Anyway, Mark, I am delighted to tell you that I'm going to stop bothering you about all the things I bother you about. For example, the bio and photo of you are up on the website at jillonmoney.com. So if you go to the About section, you can see what Mark looks like, and he's awfully cute. The picture is not great, but he is still a cute person. Second of all, we've already raised the price of Jill on Money Live. So if anyone wants to subscribe now, we go to $45 for a whole year, which is really not that bad. I've been looking at all the different costs of my various subscription services. Gang, I can't even believe it. $45, it's like half the price of anything you're getting. And the content may save you or make you money. So not many other places can do that, right? It's not like you're going to have, I got to pay for Microsoft Word or my Paramount Global or Paramount Plus. No, you're not going to save money, just spending it. This way, you could either save or make money and also be entertained. So join us for Jill on Money Live. $45, access to quarterly live webinars, bonus video content, the whole back catalog. It's really very cool. So, Mark, today we are joined by a listener in Massachusetts who sheepishly admitted he is not a football fan. Martin, the non-football fan. Martin, are you a sports fan at all?
A little bit. Maybe some golf.
Oh, my God. The most boring sport you could ever imagine.
Yeah,
okay,
not football and not tennis. Sorry, guys.
All right. It's okay. Not a problem. So what can we do for you, Martin?
The reason I was calling in is I listen to the show often, and I hear a lot of the people that call in. A lot of them are approaching retirement or in retirement already. Mm-hmm. And I'm not that close to retirement, but I wanted to call in and see if, my spouse and I, if we were kind of setting ourselves up for financial success, and whether our current approach to retirement is on the right course.
Sounds good. How old are you, Martin?
I'm 35 years old, and my wife is 34 years old.
Okay. You guys working full-time?
Both of us work full-time.
And how much do you guys earn together?
I earn $150,000 roughly, and my wife earns around $300,000.
Whoa! Martin's wife kicking butt. Look at that. That is a lot of money. You're so young. What are you doing? Spending all this money, having a great time? What are you doing with it all?
We enjoy traveling and having a great time, but we also have 2 children under 2. So that spends some of the money and a lot of our time as well.
Okay. How is the cash flow and what are you doing with this money? So number one, first and foremost, it is a lot of money, right? You're feeling good?
Yeah, we're pretty comfortable.
Okay. Tell us how you're making retirement contributions right now.
Sure. So through my employer, I take part in the Thrift Savings Plan, mm-hmm. and I'm currently maxing out traditional contributions with a 5% match. And then I also contribute via the backdoor Roth, the maximum, so the $7,000. Mm-hmm. And then my wife, she maxes out traditional 401k through her employer with a 3% match, mm-hmm. and is also doing the backdoor Roth of $7,000.
That's great. And so you're putting away a bunch of money for retirement. What's the amount that you guys have? Let's do the traditional amount and then also the Roth amount.
Sure. For myself, my current balance is $250,000 in the traditional. thrift savings plan and a $7,400 balance in a Roth IRA.
Okay.
And for my wife, she has $200,000 invested in a traditional 401k through her employer and $17,000 in a Roth IRA.
Okay. And for each of you, you have these matches, you're on track, you're going to be saving a lot of money, but I'm just wondering, because you said thrift savings plan, are you going to be entitled to a pension potentially if you stick around?
Definitely.
Oh, yes. Tell me about the pension.
Sure. So based on my job, I'll have a mandatory retirement age of 57 years of age, and there will be a COLA pension. The current percentage of the high three average earning years would be about 40%. So in today's dollars, that would put me at about $5,700 a month after a 10% reduction for spousal survivor benefit.
That's pretty darn good. I'm going to guess what you do later when we get off the recorded line, I promise.
Sure.
Okay. So kids are young. Do you have money saved for their education already? Are you starting that process?
Yeah. So my wife and I, we use the New York 529 plans. We have a plan for each child. The total is $30,000 currently, $20,000 for the 2-year-old and $10,000 for the 6-month-old. Okay. And we contribute $350 per child, so a total of $700 per month.
Okay. And so between the retirement contributions, the backdoor Roth, the 529, do you still have money left over every month?
We do. We contribute to a brokerage as well as a high yield savings account.
Mm-hmm. How much is in the brokerage account?
So the brokerage account is currently at $190,000, and that's a managed account.
Mm-hmm. All right. And the high yield savings?
The high yield savings account is at $87,000.
And is there anything that you're earmarking for that money?
Potentially down the road, maybe a bigger house at some point. But it's going to be hard to walk away from our interest rate right now.
Tell us about that delicious interest rate. I'm already anticipating. First of all, you own a home, and how much is it worth?
So we bought the home in 2021, and right now it's valued at around $570,000.
Okay, good timing on your part. And the mortgage amount that's outstanding?
$240,000.
And now, wait for it, the interest rate. Mark, hang on
Mark's
to your hat.
Mark's going to hate us. It's 2.125% for a 15-year mortge.
Mark, do you want to weigh in on that right now?
No, it's painful. That's
painful.
Mine is more than 4 full points higher.
I wish we bought $1 million house.
I know, right? If you only knew.
Yeah, if we knew.
Okay, so anything else that we should know about as – you know what I wanted to ask you? You said you're putting a certain amount of money in the brokerage and the high yield savings. How much are you contributing to those accounts on a monthly basis? About?
The brokerage account is generally about $1,000 a month. The high yield savings account is anywhere between like $600 and $1,000 per month. It just kind of depends.
Mm-hmm. And you said a managed brokerage account. So who's managing that? You like a large firm, an individual? What do you got going?
It's under the umbrella of a large firm, but we work with one guy and his team. Okay.
And are you happy there?
That's part of the reason of the call. I'm just kind of curious what your guys' opinion is on this asset under management structure that they got going on right now.
Mark, did you know, of course, as soon as he said managed, I put an underline under it and I wrote, for how long?
I just want to know how many funds.
Wait a second. We'll get to that in a second. Martin, do you guys have life insurance?
Yes. Both my wife and myself each have a $1.5 million policy. Mm-hmm. And they're 20-year terms.
Okay. And estate documents are done?
Jill, we are in the process of doing our estate documents. I know you're disappointed.
Yeah, but you are young. But okay, I'm going to just take you off the hook. I know you know that you have to get that done. Mark, any other questions that you have for Martin before we start attacking some of the issues that he has brought up?
No questions, but I do believe there are other pieces of real estate in the picture.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah, just we have about 50,000 invested in a couple different LLCs that manage commercial properties.
Okay.
And based on the rental structure of those commercial properties, we get about an 8% return on that investment annually. So about $4,000 a year.
Okay. Interesting. Now, was that something the managed brokerage firm put you in, or did you have somebody in your family that does this?
That was just a kind of family friend, not any way related to the managed account.
Okay, I got it. What else do I need to know that you haven't told us yet?
We got a good savings in the bank, kind of about 50,000 outside of the high yield savings account.
Okay.
A CD of 15,000, and then my spouse has vested shares in a tech stock that she's kind of just sitting on, as well as RSUs for a different tech company that is going to vest over the next 4 years.
What are the vested shares worth right now?
Right now, they're worth about $51,000.
Is so any plan? I mean, I know it's hard to sell stuff because you're in a high tax bracket and you don't want to pay capital gains, but are there any plans to sell that or do something with those shares?
I think as of right now, we were thinking of just sitting on them and seeing if the stock value goes up over the next number of years, because it had a high point and it really dipped. So we're hoping maybe it can recover a little bit.
Okay. And the RSUs are going to vest over 4 years. Is that her current firm?
That's correct.
Okay. I'm not really going to pay attention to that because, that is happening and it's not in your hands just yet.
Correct.
All right. So where do we begin? What would you like to know about your situation?
Well, with regards to the managed account, so the brokerage account as well as our two Roth IRAs sit underneath that managed account, and the fee structure is currently a 1% asset under management, in addition to a $2,000 annual financial plan fee. And I just don't know if I'm getting the return on investment for the financial plan bit.
Oh, it's so funny because I was sort of like, 1% is kind of cheap because you have less than $1 million that the guy's managing, or gal, I don't know who it is. But a $2,000 financial planning fee, you have done the plan, right? It's in place.
Correct.
They did it for you. And this is $2,000 a year to just kind of update it, right?
Correct. It's just what numbers have changed in our financial picture.
Okay. Mark, what do you think about this? They're spending, let's say, all in, because they've got a 1% AUM, so it's, I don't know, $4,300 for a plan plus assets being managed. What do you think of that? It's weird because they have a higher net worth, but it's not money that the broker advisor can actually charge on. So what do you think about $4,300 based on what is going on for them?
It's not the end of the world. I'm not going to go nuts about $4,300. But what I will say, and I'm just reading, this managed account, these guys are in their, Martin and his wife, they're in their 30s. So they can afford to be taking some risk at this, stage of the game.
Yep.
This managed account, last year, 2024, only returned 7.5%. Like, what does I have them invested in?
What happened? Even I did better than that, and I'm a huge wimp. What do you have in the managed account, the brokerage account? What's in there?
So the brokerage account. Let me just look at my notes here. It's there's 50% of the balance is comprised of 14 different stocks.
Oh, I'm done. Forget it. I'm done with this guy. I'm sorry. That's the tell right there.
Yeah.
And they're not like 14 stocks you bought and brought to him and said, do not sell these, right?
Correct. They were picks.
Not very well.
Yeah, really. I bet, Martin, you could do better than that, and maybe I could too. I think that it's time to move on. Here's what I would do. Being sneaky. I just interviewed this woman who's like a forensic accountant who talks about like gathering documents and information before you leave. So if you're going through a breakup, or whether it is a professional or non-professional type, what I would be clear about is I would love to get the plan that they've created. So you have it, like you have your baseline. And I would be like hightailing it out of there, like in a big hurry. I wonder, in this brokerage account, do you have losses?
I think so, but they're not sizable.
Yeah, but still, I would. You're going to want to take them.
You think take them?
Yeah, definitely take them. And then the question really is, do you want to have somebody do this for you, or are you comfortable doing it yourself? So I ask you that. Are you comfortable doing this yourself? It's not that hard. I mean, if you don't have to have 14 freaking accounts, stocks rather, then it's a lot easier. In fact, I think that your child, who I just heard in the background, is probably a better manager than this person. So, I mean, I think that you could take this money, roll it into a different place. Like, I mean, whether it is Vanguard or Fidelity or T. Rowe Price or Charles Schwab or E-Trade, whatever you want to do, wherever you want, I think you can do this pretty easily. But I do think when you reallocate the money, you're going to have to figure out what the tax liability is. And, you know, you're going to take some losses, take some gains, but get out and move on. There is no reason to have individual stocks for you guys. You don't have that much money in these accounts. ETFs, exchange traded funds, that's it. And by the way, wherever you end up like having this money, you may even be able to qualify to get some financial help from, because a lot of these big companies have, you know, some financial advice for a little extra money. I'm not even sure you need it. You're in great shape. I don't know what more you would do.
Oh, this makes me so angry. Just knowing he could have been in an S&P last year. Oh, God.
That was one of my questions to the advisors. Just, wow, that was a lot of
that's a lot of work
that we left on the table.
Exactly. It's a lot of work for it, but you don't have to, like, if you decide you're going to be done, then don't worry about it. Then just figure out where you want to go next. That's number one. Move everything. Make sure you know what the cost basis is on every single position, because you'll never get it after you leave.
Okay.
So just make sure that there's an updated, you can even say like, for tax season, I want to make sure we have an updated cost basis on everything. I'm sure they will, because they bought all these terrible stocks. So make sure you have that. Pick a place, roll the money over in kind, and do the trading outside of this firm. Do not do the trading at the firm. I happen to know what firm you're with, and I'm not going to say it, but these people should be ashamed of themselves. It's just an absolute, like, it's such baloney to be able to look someone in the face and say, yeah, I'm going to be a stock picker. Come on.
I appreciate the opinion and the advice.
But anyway.
Do you have time for one additional question?
Yeah, do it.
I know maybe it's more focused for Mark, but I know Mark's a big proponent of the Roth 401k and Roth IRA.
Yeah.
By my spouse and I contributing to the backdoor Roth, is that getting us enough into Roth assets, or based on our tax bracket, would you, again, the financial advisor was saying, well, maybe you should do some Roth conversions, but that would be at the 32% bracket, which didn't make sense to me.
I wouldn't do a Roth conversion, but I would say that at the time when, you're going to be gathering up these assets, right? I think that
a monster pension.
And a monster pension is true. Not a monster, but it's a good pension. And I do think maybe you're on a contributory basis. Maybe you could start doing a little bit of, instead of all traditional, you've got a Roth option, don't you, Martin, or not?
I do.
So maybe I would just do a little bit, like maybe split yours into traditional and Roth. Look, you're in a high tax bracket. You're in the 32% bracket. I would not convert any of this. I want that brokerage account money, because what if you do want to get a new house, or what, like something happens? I really think that would be an important thing. I also think that, I think it's fine to do $1,000 a month into the brokerage account. But I also think it would be fine for you to bump up the amount of money you're putting into the 529 for each kid.
Yeah, that's what I wrote down. Because you're still putting $1,000 a month into the brokerage, and sometimes $1,000 into high yield savings. I would pull back maybe some combination of the two and put more into the 529.
I think so. I think that you need a little bit more money going into the 529 accounts. I would do that. I would make that more of a priority, at least for now. And listen, while you and your wife are still kicking butt and making a lot of money, this is all good news. This is good news. I don't want you to hear anything bad here. You're doing great. I'm so glad you got in touch with us, Martin, because this is just the kind of situation where, we can sort of spot what's happening and read between the lines. And I think for you were very wise to get in touch with us. So if you need any help in the transferring process, do let us know. I really think that's important, that we can be here for you. But again, get that cost basis information. It's much harder to get after you leave. Poke around, see where you want to open up a new account, and let's get that money in there. Let's get and save you. Look, we just saved you $4,300 a year.
I appreciate it. You guys, I both really enjoy listening to you, Jill, and Mark on your podcast. You make sense out of financial topics that people rarely talk about outside their own home. So it's nice to hear your opinion and guidance.
You're on your way.
You're on your way. I'll say, don't lose that wife who's kicking ass also. All right, gang, if you've got a question about whether or not you need a financial advisor or need to fire your financial advisor, give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and write us a note. If you want to join us on the air live, just check the box. Mark will do everything else. Hey, don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter. It comes out every single Friday. Mark Talercia, whose voice you just heard, is the co-host and executive producer of this program, my other programs, and the king of all things web. We are distributed by Paramount Global. We drop our episodes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen. And put your hands metaphorically on someone's back. Someone needs a pat on the back or a hug, okay? Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you next week.
Paramount Podcasts.